Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Production channel here at YouTube, and welcome to another Friday review. Today I am getting around to reviewing At One With None, the fifth studio album from a Swedish metal band Portrait, which was released through Metal Blade Records on September 3rd of this year. So without further ado, let me get into my overall honest thoughts on this fifth album from Portrait. Let's get into it, folks. Okay, so before I really get into any of my basically overall honest thoughts on this album, you know what I have to do. I have to do a track listing rundown so I can tell you folks what are the songs on this album, how many songs are on this album, and what is the time length for this album. And since we have at least about, well, technically 8 songs for the CD, though I'll get to the bonus 2 songs, which were only exclusive to the digital release of this album, unless either Spiritual Beasts or whoever, maybe Avalon, whoever, who at least releases most of the stuff in Japan, if they will add in the 2 songs physically. But for now, those 2 songs are only digitally, but I am only focusing on the track listing for at least basically for the physical CD copy of this album. And for this, the track listing number for the physical copy for now basically is at least 8 songs. And it all clocks in at least 52 minutes and 33 seconds. So these 8 songs are right now beginning with the title track, Curtains, the Dumb Supper is what it's actually titled there. Phantom Fathomer, He Who Stands, Ashen, A Murder of Crows, Shadowless, and then finally ending with The Gallows Crossing. So there's at least your 8 songs for at least a CD copy for the album, and maybe for most of at least the record pressings for the album. However, if you were to get this digitally, or depending if you also get it on the limited, I believe it is limited record pressing, which came with the bonus 7-inch, which includes these 2 songs. But for now, that's probably out of print, and it's probably now fetching for who knows how much now because of scalpers on eBay. But the other 2 songs, which will obviously, it brings up the album to over at least around, an hour and 3 minutes and 54 seconds. These extra 2 songs, which again, you can listen to these on at least digitally through at least either Spotify, YouTube, or even on the Bandcamp page. But these 2 songs in question are The Blood Is the Life and then Farewell to the Flesh. So those are at least your bonus 2 songs. So there's at least, that racks up all of the track listing for this particular album here. So here we go. I will tell you this. While I have always been familiar with Portrait, especially their name, especially whenever people bring up at least the new wave or traditional heavy metal movement, or especially just mentioning bands like Enforcer and Ram or White Wizard, and maybe at times throwing in their Bullet, Skullfist, and just or even In Solitude, those kind of bands. Portrait are definitely mentioned within that line of those line of names, and I've at least dabbled my sort of samplings of Portrait through the years. I was definitely very much aware of them on the when they at least contributed to the Under Command split EP from Metal Blade, which was them and Ram, and those were some really good songs from Portrait. And again, I've liked every time I've checked out a song or 2 from them, from any of their previous releases. I even enjoyed their basically their studio recording of the really obscure Judas Priest song Mother's Son, which can only be found on, I believe, the Japanese CD pressing for Crossroads, I believe. And again, that was a really good recording, because again, the reason I say studio recording, or first studio recording of that song, is because Judas Priest only recorded Mother's Son, or at least performed it live. They did, of course, Judas Priest on the recent box set, the really big ass box. It was the 50-year anniversary Judas Priest box set, wherever the fuck it is named. On one of those rarity live discs, they added in an actual live recording of Mother's Son that was performed in 1976 on the Sad Wings of Destiny tour. But again, it has only been performed live, but it was never recorded in the studio. There's not a demo of it. There was not even a studio demo. None of that. So Portrait was one of the first bands that actually really recorded studio-wise. Because again, bootleg live recordings of that song had only been surfacing on at least the internet, especially YouTube, for years now. So they're the first ones. So again, I like their studio recordings of that. So every time I've heard something from them, it's great. But yet I never went out and decided to purchase an album from them, which is very unfortunate because of finally when coming around on for coming up with what to review on this channel for this month. I just decided, fuck it. I'll check out At One With None, since I think there are definitely some of my, at least plenty of my subscribers that want to see me review an album for Portrait, and probably were thinking, man, when is he going to record, or at least review, At One With None for Portrait? So, since I've explained myself enough, I've got around to finally listening to this album, and it took me plenty of weeks to finally just really absorb this album. But all I can tell you is that this was a well worth listen. Holy shit, just from the opening, or sort of very cold atmosphere of at least the title track. And especially those little sort of acoustic, guitar notes. Those very, again, it is more, because it's not a clean guitar note, it's more of acoustic, because of, again, just the overall tone of the sort of guitar tone here in the beginning, and it plays a very dark sort of melody, and it's great. And then finally, when you get into the actual song, my god, are you just roped into one ferocious metal number. And again, this song clocks in at 7 minutes and 51 seconds. It's not even the longest song on this album, and I'll get to at least what is the longest song on this album. But my god, I mean, Portrait were really one of those bands that really kind of took the their overall, just the overall inspiration of bands like Merciful Fate and King Diamond, especially King Diamond, because again, the sound, there is at least a difference between King Diamond's solo music and with the sort of, again, the stuff they would write for Merciful Fate. Two different beasts. They all, I mean, you can tell they're cut from the same cloth, but they have their own distinctive feel, and I think this really is very King Diamond influenced on all the way. And the one album that really comes to mind is Abigail, but at the same time, I can also hear at times plenty of I was about to say Merciful Fate. I meant to say Fate's Warning. I hear plenty of Fate's Warning influences, and the two albums that come to mind are The Spectre Within and Awaken the Guardian. It's like if you took those two albums, but combine it with with the very dark, cold, brooding, just mysterious atmosphere of at least Abigail, you get At One With None, and that sort of atmosphere completely runs through the entire album here. Basically, each and every one of these songs are very much in that sort of a lane of King Diamond. Hell, the singer Per Langsdet, let me see that again. Langsdet. I hope I pronounced his last name correctly. He does have a very King Diamond-esque feel to his voice, but he doesn't completely sound like any sort of, one of those King Diamond carbon copy singers that you always get a lot when people are really trying to recapture the sort of sound, or do their best to capture the sort of sound of like King Diamond and Merciful Fate and whatnot. But Per Langsdet, he's got his own vibe to him, but you could tell he is definitely from that same vein in there. He does have that same sort of tone to him, especially when he hits his highs. He does tend to really come off very much King Diamond influenced, but it works well to the album's advantage and everything. And it doesn't come off like he is copying. He doesn't come off like a complete, King Diamond or Merciful Fate sort of copy clone, or any of the songs doesn't come off like they're completely copying him. But you can tell it's got a very similar feel and atmosphere to every of these songs. but they're all fucking great. I mean, there's just from there on after the title track, Curtains, The Dumb Supper, Phantom Fathomer is has a very killer, catchy chorus to it. And it took me plenty of times to really wrap my head around this song. But every time afterwards, the chorus of the song just sticks in my head. And it's a freaking good track. Got a really cool melody going on there, but it still comes off dark and brooding. Of course, finally, they kind of address it. The longest song on this album is Ashen, because this one clocks in at 9 minutes and 2 seconds. And it's a 9-minute fucking metal epic. My God, this is such a great track, and it's not even trying to be progressive. Instead, they milk every bit of the fucking riff as much as possible, but at the same time, you don't get tired of it. It's completely, it is fucking addictive. It's a fucking great track. And then, of course, you get into To a Murder of Crows, which is closest to a really heavy song on the album, because it begins with almost pseudo black metal or extreme metal sort of blast beat kind of beginning. It starts off like that, but then afterwards it only lasts for maybe a short couple of minutes or so, or seconds, and it's off to the more very still kind of galloping metal, and it is just so fucking great. Shadowless is also awesome. Same goes for the Gallows Crossing, which ends the album perfectly. Every one of these 8 songs are fucking great. There's just not a bad song on any of these, on any here. Everyone's got their own unique atmosphere. If anything, it blends in, but not to the point where it completely blends and everything sounds the same. It just has a way where it perfectly just, really just keeps the album flowing, that sort of style of blending, and it's just fucking great. But everyone's got their own distinct feel, and it's just fucking great craftsmanship. Everything's composed well. There's nothing bad here production-wise. It does come off raw, but it still has a very nice, crunchy feel there. It's just all fucking great. There's just nothing bad about this album. The comment, finally, on the 2 extra songs, which can only be found on certain limited edition record pressings of the album. Again, as a bonus 7-inch or digitally, the 2 songs in question again being The Blood is the Life and Farewell to the Flesh. The Blood is the Life is definitely, again, it's got that King Diamond Merciful Fate formula to it. It's fucking awesome. Again, sounds like a riff that would have been easily sound like it would have been a part of like the Abigail or Fatal Portrait, or even at times maybe even what In the Shadows, I think, the Merciful Fate album. It just has that feel. It could have been any of those albums, and it's fucking great. The last track, Farewell to the Flesh, has got a really cool atmosphere to it, and again, very melodic, but it works, and it's a fucking great song. So really, what you pretty much get with the digital copy is an hour and 3 minutes and 54 seconds of just non-stop, fucking atmospheric, brooding, dark, mysterious heavy metal. And it's fucking fantastic. Nothing bad on here. I almost pretty much love every one of these songs. Again, try and pick out a standout song would probably be, again, the title track, Phantom Fathomer, Ashen, A Murder of Crows, Shadowless, and of course, at least to kind of pick out any of the 2 songs, or at least any of the 2 bonus songs, I would say The Blood is the Life is probably the one I'll definitely pick of at least 2, but they're all fucking great. All of these are pretty much killer metal songs. I love it. So, for my first taste of Portrait, or at least first taste of a full album from them, I fucking love this album. It is great. So, there we go. There it is, folks. There's my review of At One with None from Portrait. And to give you my honest rating, I'm giving it a 9.6 out of 10. Again, I got it written down, but no highlights or anything. Because, again, I think the whole entire album's a highlight in itself. And again, I think it's a very solid album. It's definitely up there as a quality metal album, especially for this year. It is great. So, there we go. If you have at least heard At One with None, or if you haven't, again, I recommend it. But if you have heard this album, again, if you have any sort of positive or negative comments, at least about this album, you can leave them in the comments section below. So with that, hope all of you enjoyed. This is Heavy Thrasher saying I'm out, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.